Good morning, everybody. Sorry. Every day when I do this, I feel like I am so prepared, and then as I start, then I'm like, oh, what about this? What about that? And I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes going, I've got everything done that I need. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're joining, if you're in my live stream, please say how's it. I love it when everyone chats to me and asks me questions if they can. I am looking super low, super lit up, like completely lit up today. The reason for that is that I am going to be doing a high resolution recording of what we're doing today, so that I can make a proper little video to upload to YouTube. So it'll be one of those quickie little YouTube videos, but in order for me to do that, I want to do it as a high-res, good quality video. So yeah, I am surrounded by lighting because in Cape Town today is very bleak. It is no sunshine. Not that I can see. No, there's no sunshine. It is cloudy, it is cold, it's fairly miserable. There's just no rain. I love the rain, so I don't like this. It must be either sunny or it must be raining. So when it's mist like this, it doesn't make me feel good. So the sun must shine, or if it's going to be cloudy like this, it must rain. But it's not, apparently there's no forecast for rain today, so it's just going to be cloudy and cold. And of course, because it's cloudy and cold, it's dark. So I have I have my kitchen lighting, I have a ring light, I have a massive studio softbox light. I will post a picture. I took a picture of it on my Instagram. I'll post a picture of what it looks like, me all set up this morning. And then I put an extra light because my Canon SLR needs extra lighting to be able to see what I am doing. So I am super lit up here. I'm actually feeling like my eyes are like, because the lighting is in my eyes and it kind of hurts my eyes, but it's all good. I'll live. Oh, sorry, I just want to make sure I'm on my, yeah, everyone's up. Is it up? Sometimes, not so, it needs to be refreshed. Don't know why it needs to be refreshed. What are you doing? Sorry, I I like to check that everything's working on my, there we go. Here we go. We're on. Definitely there's sound. Is the I don't think the music is too loud. It should be fine. It just sounds loud because I think on my laptop it's loud. So I'll turn it down a bit because then I feel like I'm shouting. Okay, so just excuse me. So what's going to happen is that when we start doing, what I'm doing today is I'm going to do an advanced buttercream rose. So it's not just the one nozzle. Well, it is just one nozzle. It's a technique. So previously on my YouTube videos, we have done the buttercream rose with this nozzle, where it's just literally one nozzle and you squeeze in, and okay, where you squeeze and you make a rose. But I'm going to show you how to do an advanced buttercream rose, which is now with the flower petal nozzle. I'm actually going to try, I'm going to try and do 3 different kinds. Well, they're all going to be pretty much the same technique in that, but what I'm going to show you is the difference with, so these 2 are the same nozzles, which is, one's a gem, the other one, I'm not sure what make it is, but just looking at it, the one is more open at the end, even though they're the same size. They should be the same, but they've got the same number. They're both a 104 petal. And then I'm going to try and do a one with a 101, which is slightly smaller. You can see there's a big difference in the size. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do, I'm going to show you how to do it with a plain color, so no mixing of colors. One will be with a combination of two colors, and then I'm going to show you a different one where you can do it, you're going to have just like the tips, where just the tip of the flower petal will have a different color. So I'm going to, and then obviously this one will be much smaller. I want to try out the very small one, so I want to see how that works out. So that's going to be the advanced buttercream rose that we're going to do. And then I'm going to show you how to do a Gerbera, which is very, very similar to a sunflower. And we're going to be using the leaf nozzle. All three of these are the same. They all say that they are 352. But strangely enough, this one, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see? They're supposed to be the same size, but this one is smaller, which is very strange. It's been molded not the same when it's supposed to be. So these two are, if you put them on top of each other, you can actually see that they're definitely the same. They look the same. But for some reason, this one is smaller, even though it's meant to be the same. I think it might be because it's a different brand of nozzle that it's not the same. These two are the same brand, and then this one, I don't know what brand it is. I think these are the Wilton nozzles, as far as I understand. Okay, so ideally for the Gerbera or the Barberton daisy, same thing. You want this nozzle, and then you want one like this where it's smaller. So I'm hoping that this one's going to work out quite well for me, but because I am battling to actually find the smaller leaf nozzle, but this one is actually cut smaller. I'm not sure why, when it's meant to be the same. So I'm going to try and use it as a smaller leaf nozzle, but ideally you would have this one, and then you would have one size smaller leaf nozzle. I could, you see my other leaf nozzle, this one for me is too big for a cupcake. So I mean, if you had to do a Gerbera on a cake, you could use this big one, which is a 366, a Wilton 366. Okay, so this is a Wilton. I thought all of these would say Wilton. They don't say Wilton on it, so I don't actually know which brand this one is. Then you would use a combination of the two, of these two, and then plus you know, a small circle nozzle. I'm actually not even going to use the nozzle. I'm just going to, I've made because I'm out of disposable bags. I've made my own, and I'm just going to cut the tip to the size that I wanted. So yeah, but if you don't want to do that, you can use a small circle nozzle. But I've only got two sizes in that. I've got tiny and I've got large. So this way I can actually make it the size that I want. So yeah, okay. So just excuse me throughout this process. What's going to happen? Okay, when I'm ready to start recording, I'm just going to quickly go and switch my Canon on. I don't want to leave it running for the whole live session because my battery will die and I'll run out of memory on my my SD card. So when I'm ready to start showing you, I'm going to quickly go press record, and then I'll come back and then we'll do a recording. It's also the reason why I'm going to do so many, because so that I can get different takes, and then I'll be able to decide what I'm doing with what. Some of it I might land up chucking and others I might not. So okay, so what we're going to do I've decided to, I always tend to do like pink roses or, you know, that kind of thing, instead of like different colors. So I've decided today I'm probably going to go with a nice rich red rose for the plain one. So I'm going to just put that so that I know what I'm doing. And then I think I'm going to do a combination of yellow and orange. I think that will be quite nice. And then I'm going to do I probably will go with orange and straight white with the smaller one to show you a technique with the with that. Okay, so let's get started. I've already got buttercream, so I'm not going to make buttercream on stream. Don't want it to be a boring stream. I want it to be an informative stream. So yeah. So I'm going to just I'm not doing any of this on cupcakes, just so you know. If you are a baker and wanting to do this along with me, and you've got some handy, if you've got some buttercream handy, you know, colors and nozzles, you're more than welcome to quickly go grab them, and you can do it along with me and ask me questions if you're wanting to do that. And then, so I'm just going to mix some colors. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm also probably just going to extend my buttercream for this, because this is super thick. This is not so. Now, sorry, I'm just looking at my camera. Oh, there we go, that's better. Okay, there we go. So this is super thick. This is not the consistency that you want. Okay, you need it a lot thinner than that, and a lot smoother and creamier and stuff. So, okay, what did we say? We were going to go, we're basically going to have 4 colors. We're going to have red, yellow, orange, and we're going to have white. So I'm going to just make sure that I've got 4 colors prepped and ready with the buttercream that I have. And then we're just going to do combinations of them. Oh, wait, and then with the Gerbera, I'm going to need an extra 2 tubs. Okay, I've just realized that. So, and then obviously with the Gerbera, I'm going to do the Gerbera with, I don't know. Maybe we go with like an orange Gerbera and maybe a yellow one. Or maybe we just go straight orange. I think a yellow, we're going to go, okay, I'm not going to go with pink. I always seem to go with pink for when it comes to flowers, but I think let's stick to the reds and the yellows and the oranges. And then I can use that. What also I can do is use those colors. Once I've done the rose, whatever's left over I can use for the Gerbera. Also, so what I'm saying is I'm not going to be doing this on cupcakes. This is a fantastic way of being able to practice and not have to bake. And not have to bake. I mean, like, really, why? You can't always be baking, right? So, especially when you're wanting to practice and stuff like that. There's no, especially with this kind of stuff, not necessary to bake. Oh, I'm making lots of noise. You can just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bottom of a ramekin, and I'm going to use some baking paper, and we're going to practice on that. That's how we're going to do it. So, and then also I'm going to switch my logo and myself off, so you won't be able to see me once I start working, but of course you'll be able to see my hands, and that's obviously what's the most important, is being able to see my hands. So I'm actually going to thin these up a bit with a little bit of milk. And if I need to add, also this is leftover buttercream. So you know, this is the best thing for leftover buttercream. You know, use it for practice. So I'm just going to add a little bit of milk to each one of them, and if I end up making it too runny, I'll just put I've got some icing sugar. I might land up bulking these up a bit so that I can make sure I've got enough. Like I say, no one's going to be eating this or anything like that. Oh, actually, I lie. My daughter might land up eating this, but this is not for anything else other than purely to demonstrate. So if I possibly might need extra icing, so if I need extra, I just add milk and then I add more icing, and then I'll bulk it up a bit. Okay. So we said we're going to do white, or buttercream white. So we're going to make a buttercream white. So I'd rather make it runny and then add to it to get my consistency, because this is definitely too thick. I just want to put my chat on so I can see if anyone chats. So obviously I put a little too much milk in, so, but it's all good. Okay, so that's going to be my white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color it in the order of white, yellow, orange, and red. That way I don't need to use 1,000 different knives. And I don't need to keep cleaning either. Just want to see. And obviously make sure that your buttercream doesn't have any lumps or anything like this. Because if it does, especially like the one that I've got, it's very closed, that nozzle on the one side, and it's gonna squeeze quite a. If there's a lump, it's going to affect how your flour looks, because it's going to battle through to get through. I've actually even tried to widen that a bit, because this one is definitely, I don't know if you can see. You can see the two. This one is definitely more open than that one, and yet they're supposed to be the same. So this one we're going to make yellow. And generally doing these flowers, they actually don't, I'm just looking for a cloth, they generally don't need a lot of icing, but I find that it's always better to rather mix more than and have extra. Then run out and you have to try and mix it again and get the same color. To make it a nice bright yellow. And obviously the consistency is not stiff and hard like this buttercream, but not runny either. It must be able to hold its shape. You can see if I make peaks, it holds its shape. It doesn't fall off or anything like that. Definitely not runny. I think what I'll do is I'll do an orange. I've never seen a Gerbera two-tone, so I don't think that would be a thing. Gerberas are definitely not two-toned. Possibly the outer flowers are lighter and the inner flower, the outer petals, sorry, are lighter and the inner petals are darker. So I think I might do that so that the lighter petals are slightly lighter than the inner petals. But there's no two-tone in Gerberas. But I just thought it would be nice to do it a different color. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with an orange Gerbera, because if I do yellow, it might look more like a sunflower than a Gerbera, even though the sunflower is done differently. So with the Gerbera, the outer petals, you'll have 2 rows of outer petals, and then you'll have 2 rows of inner petals, smaller petals. So you've got big petals and small petals, and then you have the little brown stamens, which actually I think I've got an idea of what I'm going to use, because it always looks really nice. I have these like little chocolates, I don't know what they are. I bought them from the local grocery store, and they just looked fun to be able to use, and I use them with the sunflowers, and it really looks nice, and obviously it'll taste nice too. Okay, I'm going to make this a nice bright orange. I use gels. I use specifically, and this is not a plug for them or whatever, it's just I specifically use the Cake Floral. I know that for bakers, they always want to know what brand. I am a Rolcom person myself, but I prefer Rolcom. But the gels, I like the Cake Flora. They are super bright, and they're just beautiful colors, and they you don't need to hang up a lot to get a nice deep color. Also, what happens with these gels is that if you just if you mix your colors and then just give them, say, 10 minutes before you actually use them, they will actually darken up. And I use these colors for everything. Okay. And the last one, which will be red. This is the only color I don't use a gel. I don't use red gel because I will use an entire bottle before it even gets red. It'll just come out looking like a weird, it's not even a pink. Pink is pink. You know, light red is not pink. Yeah, it's just like pink is in a whole league of its own. So this is the only one I use. I can't tell you what the brand is or anything. I get it specifically from one place and I buy tons of it. But you don't need a lot of it for it to turn red. It's the best. My husband's probably laughing at me right now because he always laughs at me because I don't get paid to plug people. I just like to tell people what's good and what's not. Okay, so at least now we've got our colors mixed and everything, and then we can just get on with it. I'll show you how to. Okay, so I'm going to probably need it. This will definitely also darken up, as you know, the longer I leave it, the darker it will go. But I want it a little bit more red than that. I want it like nice. So if I was using gels, red gels, this is probably as dark as I'm going to get it with a red gel. So yeah, hence why I don't use red gel. So I've only used one scoop. I'm going to use one more scoop, which should be more than enough to make this super red. And you're going to go, oh, but it's not red yet. No, not yet. But I'm not going to start. I want to start with the red, hey? I want to start with the red. So, I might need to just force it to go red. I'm going to start with the red. So we're going to start with the plain rose. We're going to do a plain red rose. And I'm going to use the thinner nozzle piece, and then that one will be orange and yellow, and then we're going to do a combo one. This is still not a lot of red compared to using a gel. It's going to turn red, so I just need to give it a... and just because I'm saying it's going to turn red, it's not turning red. That's so funny. Sorry, I'm getting glare and my eyes are hurting. Okay. So it is going red. You'll see it's quite red. Okay. So let's leave that one at that. So we're going to do a plain red. I just want to clean here quick, because this red will get everywhere and then, oh, it's a nightmare. I need to change glasses. So you can't see it. This red makes everything red. everything. So that's why I need to clean it up. Sorry, I need to change glasses. Can't see. Ah. Okay. Oh, good God. Anybody else have this problem with needing to be able to see? My problem now is with all this light, the glare is hurting my eyes. Just a little thing about me. And these glasses have clip. Okay, there we go. And they're clean. Right. Okay, let's just get this right. Yeah. Okay, so good. Why I'm cleaning it as well is just because I'm going to work with okay. So red is going to be plain. So then we're going to do a mix of yellow and orange. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch me off because you don't need to see me, so that you can see everything else of what I'm doing and you have a wider scope. Okay. And you will hear me though. And I want to switch off. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do a mix of red and of orange and yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with the cling wrap. So you cut a nice little square of cling wrap. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the main color yellow with a touch of orange on the top. So I just keep my knives in a jar of hot water to then clean my knives. So we're just gonna, you can pipe it like this so that you have more accuracy of thickness and stuff. For me, it's much of a muchness when it comes to stuff like this. Sometimes, like if I was doing a rainbow, I would possibly pipe it then, because then you want them all, each color to be the same. If you're a regular to my YouTube, you will my YouTube live, you will know that you will be familiar with the fact that I'm constantly dealing with my puppy who's in and out all the time. So I disappear every now and then to either let her in or let her out. The sun has apparently decided to grace us with its presence. I actually don't want this too thick, so I'm going to just not have too much, but it's fine. Okay. Right, so we're going to have a two-tone rose. I'm going to roll that up. Put that aside. So we've got a red, we've got a two-tone red, two-tone orange. So my camera's in a different angle space today. And I'm going to do, and then I will do a white with a color. I'm thinking I might just do it with purple so that it stands out more, but we'll see. Okay, so let's move on with one at a time. So I'm going to do not that. I have my nozzles ready here. Okay, so this one should fit. Your nozzles, your hole should be so that it's what, 3/4 of the way down. I obviously have a hoard of already cut bags and usable bags. I always put the thinner side by the seam. That just helps me to make sure I'm going in the right direction. Okay, so we're going to fill that with red. Do you see how red the red's gone now? That it's just given it a couple of minutes to develop. And it'll only get redder as the longer it sits, the darker it will become. So this is going to be a super dark red. Okay. So I am going to we're just going to put a blob over there in the center so that this will stick down. I'm going to give me 2 seconds to run around and switch my camera on. So I need to work in that space there. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do, just make sure your nozzle is clean. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, in the center, we're just going to create like a little tower of icing, sugar icing in the center, so you'll see like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go from this side with the oh, I don't try to talk and do something at the same time, sorry. Okay, with this thin side, the seam with the very thin side facing up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to base up the wider side down, and we're going to squeeze, and we're going to pull, and we're going to pull it across and base it down like that. We're going to turn. It's imperative that we turn the cupcake. Then from the center of that, what is that? Like a little arc. We're going to go from the center of that arc. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to base the thick side down, and we're going to pull, and we're going to go towards. We're going to go towards that centerpiece at the moment. We're going to start out, because the rose always starts out with it more closed petals in the center. So you're going to keep going from center to center. So you can see from center to the center, and you're going to keep turning it around. And as we go round from center to center, we're going to start moving it. You're going to start opening the rose up towards us. So the thin side is you're going to start changing the angle so that it starts opening up. So you can see it's going to start opening up. Just make sure that your nozzle is clean every now and then, because it can affect how it's going to look. So you're going to keep pulling it. So this nozzle will give you quite a big rose. So now I think from there, okay, so that's that there. Then we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to just do it from so that it's wider out. And then you can actually go from we need to go in the same direction, and then you can just so that it opens up more. And obviously you're just going to go until your cupcake is done. So that's our plain red one. And you can play with it. You can make it more closed. You can make it more open. It really is, you know, up to you what you decide to do. So I'm going to put that rose aside. So you can make these buttercream roses, and if you do it with a crusting buttercream, you can allow it to dry. And then what will happen is, like in a day or two when they're hard, well, I say a day or two because in Cape Town everything takes a day or two. I'll be back. Okay. Like I said, I'll be back and forth because I'm trying to record in high res here. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is the next another rose. Same rose, it's going to be the same basics, except we're just going to do a variant. So what we're going to do is we're going to put same petal size, and you can do this with a bigger petal size, you can do it with a smaller petal, depending on how big you want your rose to be. Okay, same thing, same story, thinner side, but on the seam that just helps you to know which direction you're going. That you know what's especially so that you know which side is going to come up thinner on your petals. And then also like now, because we're going to do a variant with the yellow and the orange, I'm going to put the orange on the thin side. So the main part of my my rose is going to be yellow, and then it will have orange on the tips. So that's why it's important that you always make sure that the seam side is up, because that's the side that's got the thinner side on the petal. Okay. Same story. You're going to make a little petal area for in the center. So I just do like a little bulbocky frill kind of thing. I actually found that it doesn't matter what it looks like. You can make it like a circle and whatever, but it's just something to work around. Okay, same thing. Same thing. Keep your nozzle clean. Same thing. So we're gonna, maybe we'll make this one a little bit closed, more closed. So we're gonna direct our petal more in so that it appears more closed than open. Same thing, we cross over from center to center. And obviously with a cupcake, it's much easier to twist and turn. And you can do this, so like this can be a rosebud. You don't need to do it more than that. It can just stay that much. And you can then add leaves to it as a rosebud. Or you can then carry it on and start opening up the petals. I might have put a little too much orange because it's not showing the yellow so much. There we go. Now you're going to see the yellow. And it is ever so slight. And it does give it a bit of a... It just... what does it do? It livens it up and just gives it a little bit more character. So now I'm just opening, I'm changing the angle. Oh, shit. I'm changing the angle so that it will open up more. And you don't have to have an open, like I said, you don't have to have an open one. And that is that one. So the next one we're going to do is I'm going to do some mini roses with this one. I want to do some mini ones. Okay, so this one, what I'm going to do is we're going to use white. And the tiny nozzle. It's very much smaller. Same story where the thinner side is on the seam. But what we're going to do is I'm going to take a skewer and I'm going to open up I'm going to do it with purple because it's darker and you'll be able to see it better. So this bag's a bit big for this, but it will do the same trick. So that's why I'm pulling it down so much more, because I'm not going to need... when you're working, one of the things that I must say, when you're working with any kind of buttercream flowers, never ever fill your bag right to the brim. I know you might need to do a lot of buttercream flowers, which is, like if you're doing like 36 buttercream flowers or whatever it is, that's fine. But the thing is that if you fill it too much, what happens is the palm of your hand gets hot. So by the time you get to the buttercream that's at the top, so you've got buttercream here. If you fill it to like there, okay, because you've got a lot to get through, which is fine. But the problem is that by the time you've squeezed through to this buttercream here, the palm of your hand has actually melted and softened your buttercream even more. So it's no longer this consistency, which is a problem. So rather, if need be, even if it's one color, rather set up a whole lot of bags of in cling wrap of buttercream. So if you're doing 2 tones, rather have 3 or 4 of those in cling wrap, so that you can pull out and pop and then put it back in, so that you're not having to continuously clean this. But to have it very full, and also you don't have as much control. It needs to be round about your hand size, because you want to be able to push from here down, and it must be taut all the time. It mustn't be loose and baggy like this. You will never have any control over it. That's just a tip for you if you are a baker, or someone who's wanting to learn how to do this. Your hands get warm, so it does cause problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my skewer. I don't know why I'm off on my camera. I'm going to take my skewer and I'm going to dip it in my purple, and I'm going to run it along the side here by the seam. And I'm going to run it all the way down, and I'm actually going to make it look kind of messy to see what it looks like. So I'm going to make it look kind of messy like that, because it's going to give it a nice effect. I'm going to actually even put inside the make sure that there's a little bit in the nozzle as well. Okay. And then I'm going to put buttercream, and I'm going to push it in from so there's the color. I'm going to push it in from that side so that I don't touch the 2, or else it could mess up. So we're going to push it in from underneath, because you want that color to be only on the one side. You don't want it really anywhere else. And then you're going to just fill it up. I don't need to fill it up too much. And you're going to squish it down. So even in here, you can see it's now got some color. I'm going to see how this mini one is going to come out. Okay, so same technique, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to do it more like sorry, I'm just going to squeeze that out a bit, because now it's a little too much. Okay. I put too much down the center by the nozzle. That's okay, we just clean it up. So you can actually squeeze it out a bit before you start. Okay, so we're going to make like little mini buds. So this, I think, will be perfect for if you make lots of little roses on here, and then you put some green rose petals. So same thing, nothing's changing. We're going to start with a little, I don't know what to call that, a pile in the middle of icing, and we're going to close it up more, because I want them more like buds. So you can see now with the white and the purple, and just that, so it's giving it quite a variant. It's actually quite pretty. So because it's smaller, I'm not going to actually make, so then I'm going to do another one over here. Again, you can make them as closed or open as you want. Now I almost want to make some green to make leaves to go with this. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to show you how to do that. Wasn't planning on doing leaves. Again, keep your nozzle clean. What's going to get noisy? You have quite a few people watching. I know. See, there's 8. So same technique the whole time, where you're basing the thicker part of your nozzle on the base of your cupcake. Start off with the thinner part leaning towards the center, and then as you open up your petals, you will then bring it towards you and opening it up. This is the first time I'm actually using such a tiny petal nozzle. It's one of my new nozzles, so it's the first time I'm actually trying it out. So because it's quite nice to be able to do, like, if you had to do this on like a little rose basket like this on a cupcake. But I'm not sure how, well, I suppose from the center to the outside would work, so that you're not touching the other roses. And then what you can do, so if you do the small little ones like this, and then you're going to do green petals, which I think I'm going to mix a little bit of green just now to see what it will look like with some rose petals. So I'm just going to leave that one on the side with my other ones. I've got purple all over my hands. Yeah, I might have put a little bit too much purple down there, but it actually came out pretty well, and you can see how I don't know, sorry, I can't see, but I'm sure you can because of the light. There is like bits and pieces of purple in there, but mainly the tips are very dark and the rest is white. Okay. Sorry, I'm just washing my hands because of that purple. Because I don't want it getting on anything else. Okay, so I'm going to quickly mix up a little bit of green just so that we can make some petals. Not petals, leaves. So we can make some leaves. How many do I have here? 2. So I'm just going to quickly mix up a little really small bowl of green. Not a lot of green. I do like the forest green, but my favorite is, I have electric green, which really is nice, but then sometimes I mix the electric green and the forest green, and that gives me such a nice color. I'm actually going to do one of the things I'd like to do is do a live stream on. Hello, Saber. You've just missed all my roses. These are mini roses, and here's a two-tone rose and a plain red rose. And now I've decided to give the mini roses some leaves. Practice, practice, practice. This is why we're not even doing it on cupcakes. Because we must practice and practice. Wait, I've got 3. Where's the other 2? Oh, I've lost it. There it is. So I have a lot of some of the same nozzles, because like the Gerbera needs. Thank you. So let's just quickly make some leaves. To be honest, exactly what I've done with these, you can do with this, so that the green has got a two-tone. I'm just not going to do that today. Okay. So, and just so that we can make it look like it's finished, right? So we're going to pretend that this is a cupcake, and we're just going to run through some little flowers, leaves with it. See, so leaves are fantastic because leaves are help to fill up the gaps. I think obviously this is much bigger than a cupcake, so really will look different to win it on a cupcake. And obviously, yeah, leaves fill up gaps, and you can put them however you want. I'm sitting with 2 cameras and I can never decide which camera I'm actually. Don't normally do this. I'm literally only doing the recording like this for when I do the buttercream flowers, so that I can make a nice video to post on YouTube. Okay, so what's next? We're going to do the Gerbera, the Gerbera, the Gerbera, the Gerbera. Okay, so I just want to go get my so in this multi box is these little chocolate chip kind of, not chocolate chip, I can't even tell you what they are. But they're really cool for the center of a sunflower or a Gerbera. So instead of me having to pipe the center, I can do that. Or I can make a chocolate and, pipe it and whatever. So the Gerbera, the Gerbera, the Gerbera. Oh, what we were going to do, we were going to make it two-toned, right? So, well, sort of two-toned. So we're going to make the outside petals lighter and the inside petals darker. Hello, Daddy. How are you? How is India? Okay, so I'm going to just put a blob of orange, or 2, okay, and then we're going to mainly put some white buttercream, and we're going to mix that so that it's lighter. So I'm only, we're going to do this once. So we're not going to, obviously I did the roses obviously multiple times, but you can see there was different variations. Whereas with the Gerbera, thank you, Daddy. With the Gerbera, there's not really, I mean, they don't come in two-toned. I think at best they come one, or like I'm going to do a light color and a dark color. But I think that's pretty much as close as it's going to get to different variations and stuff with the Gerbera. So hence why we're only going to do one Gerbera, or maybe I'll do it twice just to, for recording purposes. I will do it twice. So I'm going to, the smaller nozzle that I have, even though they're meant to be the same, the smaller one I'm going to use and make it dark. I'm going to use the darker orange, and then the lighter orange is going to go for the bigger nozzle. So that's the bigger nozzle, because the bigger nozzle's on the outside. And then the darker one on the inside. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm still trying to decide how I'm going to go about. Okay, or so when you're practicing and you're using a ramekin base and that, you always just put a little bit of ice in there just to hold that down. Also, I might actually just do a quick rose or something on this just to show you how to use this. Okay, which I'll do just now. Okay, I'll be back. I'm just going to press record. Okay, so we're going to work according to an imaginary circle. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, is this as big as that? That's the biggest one. Okay, so so you're going to have an imaginary circle, but obviously your cupcakes are round anyway. So this is not going to matter whether you are working with the seam or not, because we're not working with a variation of color, you know, multiple colors or anything like it. Again, make sure that your nozzle's clean. Make sure that this is nice and taut, nothing loose or anything like that. You won't be able to work. So keep tightening it up. This is enough. If you need to fill more, but don't do your whole bag. Okay, so how we're going to work this one is that we're going to, this is the lighter color on the outside of the Gerbera petal, right? We're going to make it a bigger petal. Okay, so we're going to base, squeeze it and base it and pull. And we're going to slightly overlap the petals. So the best way is to just, you know, use your cupcake as your you know, the start of your imaginary circle. So base it and pull. You don't want a wriggly petal. We're not making leaves. We want it as straight and smooth, because that's what the petals look like. We're going to do 2 rows of this. the bigger ones. Okay, so we're going to do another row, but what we're going to do, so I'm just going to make sure that the seam is up. The reason why I'm making sure that the seam is up is because that will interfere with my petals if it's not up. Now, when you do the next row, you're going to go between that petal and that petal. You're not going to go exactly on the same petal. You're now going to go in between the two petals. And I'm going to say you're going to go at like a 45-degree angle. So you need to make sure that these petals are most definitely bigger. Okay? That's why you kind of need to have two different size leaf nozzles. The bigger one and the smaller one. I'm going to try and make this one smaller when I work with it because I don't have the smaller nozzle. Again, make sure your seam is up, only because you don't want it to interfere with the one below. You're now going to change the angle of so you're going to make these smaller petals. So if you've got a smaller leaf nozzle, yay. Unlike I don't have a smaller leaf nozzle, but like I said in the beginning, this nozzle seems to be cut completely different to the other ones, even though it's not meant to be smaller, it's meant to be the same size. So I'm going to try and use it as a smaller leaf nozzle. I'm battling to find the smaller leaf nozzle. But you're going to change the angle. Your petals are going to be a little bit more up because they're smaller and they're going to be standing up a little bit more. And they're darker. Same technique. So I'm just going to shoot them out so that they are smaller as opposed to being bigger. And they're going to be standing up more than lying down. So not quite a 90-degree angle, but not at 45 degrees. It's not going to be at the same angle as those ones. You can see to help me with the angle, I'm actually moving this to the side so that I can, and the color, I think if I had to take a photograph, you would see the difference in color. I can see it, but I'm not sure if you can see that this orange is slightly darker. And it's ever so slightly. It's not a lot darker. Okay, same story. Make sure that this is tight. And then you're going to go in between each petal to do a second row. And you overlap them as well. You can overlap them from the front is fine. I find most of the time it should be overlapped from the bottom when you do flowers. I mean from behind. I find that, but with this I don't think there's too much of a thing. So I'm actually going to do a third row. I think a third row, because this is quite big, I'm going to do a third row. I think on a cupcake, because a cupcake is so much smaller, 2 rows and 2 rows will be fine. But I'm going to do a third row because I think because this is so big, it'll make quite a difference. I have done this same flower with instead of this tiny little leaf nozzle, I've done it with a round nozzle, and actually this definitely looks way better with a smaller. Either you just pull it up quicker and make a smaller leaf nozzle. A smaller leaf pattern, as opposed for a petal rather than that other one. Okay, so then what was I going to do? Oh, okay, so then we're going to do the center. Technically should be brown. I don't really want to pipe it, but I'm not actually going to pipe it. I'm just going to I'm going to scoop up some white. Should I use white? And a knife. This is a real cheat. Okay. I'm going to put that in the center because, so I'm not going to pipe it. You can definitely pipe this. I'm being completely and utterly lazy doing this. I would do it like I would probably pipe this. I just want, because I'm going to use the piping bag for something else. So the reason why I'm doing it like this, I'm going to show you now, because this is going to get covered. And I don't want a lot of icing. I just want enough to cover the base, so that okay, I want just enough to cover the base so that I can put these down, because I'm not going to pipe that. And we're just going to pop these all in here, so it's going to get covered anyway. If you have chocolate icing or brown icing, then yeah, cool. You know, you can by all means pipe it. But I find that these actually give such a nice texture, and it looks like the real thing. So I'm going to just pop them all in there. So you're not going to see the icing that I laid down anyway. And this really does, I mean, this is so much easier than sitting piping with a tiny nozzle. And it gives you a lovely little texture, and because it's these little chocolate pieces, it gives a nice flavor as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in my little makeshift piping bag. Not a lot. And I'm going to make a small little, I don't know if you've ever, sometimes you see it in the Gerberas, they don't all have it, but I think it does give it a bit of like a three-dimensional kind of look to it. Well, I've only got a very little in here, which is fine. So I'm gonna look like a spazzo doing this. So I'm just going to cut a small hole, and I'm going to cut just every now and then. Did it cut? There we go. Every now and then I'm going to just put a little in between here and there, not everywhere, so that it looks like little stamens. And with everything, it's squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift. I do that to Rebecca, and it's how she's learned how to pipe. We say squeeze and lift, so that you base it and then you pull it up. So this just adds an extra little dimension to your flower to make it look a little bit more realistic. Just see where else. So not too much, just in the smaller petals and in the darker area. I'm just going to show you how to. I'm going to do it with the smaller rose. recording has come out as I want it. Yeah, because I haven't been able to really check, so I might get into trouble. But I think it'll be okay. But I have double recorded anyway. I've double recorded everything. Okay, so the green, the small one. If you're wanting to, so this only works with smaller flowers. You're not really going to do it with bigger flowers. But say, you know, you're wanting to make, you know, little roses like this to put onto a cake. Some people do it, some people don't. Do you know, like if you don't feel confident enough to pipe it directly onto the cake, you can do it this way, where you make your little roses. You can let them dry a little bit and then pop them onto the cake with a knife. Okay, so this tool is specifically for what I'm doing, but it's generally only for small flowers. But I think you can get bigger ones. I don't have bigger ones. I only have the small one. That's why I use the ramekin. But I think if there are, I must actually have a look for bigger ones, because then I won't need to use the ramekin. You'll just do the same thing. It just makes it easier for you to turn it, right? Because you've watched me now. I'm turning the cupcake, turning everything. So this also, you can do the same thing with royal icing, Saber. So you can make very, very thick, sturdy royal icing, and you can make flowers this way, and then they will dry super hard. And you can make the same thing. You can do this. This is not only for buttercream. What I'm showing you now can be done with royal icing. Okay. Just depends on what you want to do. Okay. So same thing, where we put a little lobiki in the middle, and because it's a small rose, it's not going to be very big. We're going to base it with the white side down from center to center. And then, sorry, my piece of paper is too big, so I'm just going to cut it off right in the middle of me having to do what I'm trying to do. It's interfering because it's too big. Okay, so then, so now you need to multitask, right? Okay. But now I want this little rose to start opening up, so I'm going to change the angle from a little more of an open angle towards me. Same thing. Do you see how much easier it is to be turning this around? So that's the beauty of this thing, as opposed to using a ramekin like I have been. Take it off. You can scoop this off right away and put it on your cake, or you can, if you like me, who's never confident that it will get squashed, you can then just should I do it again? I'll do it again. My icing looks like it's a little warm. So this is from my palm, so it's the reason why it's a little warm. So my icing is actually starting to not hold shape anymore because it's warm. Okay, so same thing. Just make sure that this has to be nice and taut, otherwise it's not going to work. And you can start from the get-go open if you want. The roses are actually so much fun to do, and I honestly thought it was a lot harder, and it's not actually. Once you get the hang of it, it's not really that difficult. And like you can see, I've already done them in different shapes and sizes and different colors. It's actually super fun. Yeah, and that is it. Hey, pretty. Oh, and then it does that. And now look, no more rose. Oh no. That's hilarious. Good thing I am done. It's a short one today. It hasn't been a long stream. So funny. Oh no. That is so funny that my icing fell. My thing fell. But you can see how soft it's become because of my light is quite warm. My light is warm, so my it's getting a bit warm in here, so it's why it's affecting the buttercream as well. Anyway, that is today. Literally, I'm only doing the Gerbera, and it looks yellow on my screen when it's actually orange. So yeah, it looks very much like a sunflower, but the sunflower's got bigger leaves, and yeah. And we can do the Gerbera in different colors, whereas the sunflower's generally what? Yellow. Yellow, 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 yellow. Anyway, guys. So that's me for today. I just did these. I'm going to try, I might not live stream it, but I'm going to try and I'm going to try and record lots of this kind of thing for you to be able to do. I'm going to try. That is the point. I'm going to try, whether or not I get there or not, because life is super busy. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today, and for chatting and for watching. Please make sure that you are liking and subscribing and sharing. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, I'm live. At the moment, I'm live 3 days a week. It possibly could change to 2, but at the moment it's 3 days a week. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And whew, so much light in here. I'm going to switch it off. Jeez. Wow. You can see me now. I don't look so blown out, but you can see the difference. With so much light and then no light. Unfortunately, my Canon needs, the SLR needs a lot of light to record. So it's the reason why I had so much lighting going on here. Whew. In summer, I won't need it because then my kitchen is very bright. So anyway, guys, what's today? Wednesday. So I will see you again on Friday. I'm going to be brainstorming Father's Day stuff. That's basically what I'm doing. Friday is going to be all things Father's Day, brainstorming on different things that I could possibly do for sale on my website for Father's Day. So I'm going to try different things, and then I will decide which ones will end up going up on my website for sale. But yeah, Friday is going to be all things Father's Day treats. I have a few ideas in mind. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining, and I will see you on Friday. Have a fantastic day.